Welcome to Being Friends with Jess and Toni-ann, an inside look at our friendship, millennial things, sports, and pop culture. Come laugh with us, or maybe at us, and let's be friends. Welcome back, friends. Oh,
Yes.
I did it before it started.
You jumped the gun. You jumped the gun. Like 2 seconds too early. What she was saying was...
Welcome back, friends.
Welcome back. We're on episode 13, a very good lucky number.
Oh, wow. Wait till you see my cup.
Oh, snap. Oh,
Didn't even
snap.
think of that. Anyway, sorry that I sound like a frog, everyone, but I'm sick, but we're staying committed and we didn't cancel. We're just going through. So
You sound a lot better today, though. You're on the mend, it sounds.
yeah, well, last night I had a fever, randomly. We were supposed to record last night, and then I texted Toni-ann being like, I need to go to bed at 7 p.m. tonight, which I did. I went to bed an hour and a half before my 1-year-old did. And then wound up with like a low-grade fever, so that wasn't super fun. And then I still feel pretty terrible, but we needed to get it done, so we're opting for earlier so I could still go to bed at grandma time tonight. So, I guess I'll start with what's in my china because I'm sick, and Toni-ann was like, happy hour. My happy hour is a nice ginger tea in my Mrs. cup, but also I have a second beverage. I actually have 3 beverages on this table. A second beverage in a new cup that I got from my aunt. And this is emergency. And I really only made it for the accountability of hopefully I will drink it while we're on here. But emergency is quite disgusting to me. I really avoid it at all costs and have some PTSD with it because our coach used to force us to take it before we got on a plane to go to Florida every spring break. It was the only times that I ever had emergency. And every year I came back with a sinus infection. So clearly the emergency was doing nothing. Also, he made us take it on the way there, but not on the way home. So there was a lot of loopholes in the reasoning behind us.
A lot of things he did didn't make sense. A lot of things he did didn't make sense. But actually, my dad still swears by my dad does emergency, like it's daily vitamin regimen. Like he drinks that all the time. And he's always, when I'm starting to be like, oh, I think I'm starting to feel sick, that's because you don't do emergency, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, it's just like not for me.
You have the orange one? They have
I have
flavors.
trust issues with orange juice, but we'll save that for ridiculous things, and I'll explain more then, now that I just thought of that.
But it's not like emergency is pulpy, but I guess the flavor is just like setting you off.
Yeah, I don't really know. I just don't like it. So anyway, what's in your cup, Tone?
All right, well, I'm using one of my chinas from London because last week I was supposed to debut it and I forgot. So here's a beer.
Oh, that was very cool. Very
cool.
I did like that
one. Some rainbow skulls. The beer is Beavertown. That's the brewery name, which is somewhere in London. But ironically, when we asked the guy at the pub, like, oh, I don't know, like Beavertown sounded so familiar to me. And he was like, well, apparently it's very based off of like somebody that made it in London loves like Oregon or something like that, which is the beaver state.
Yeah, like the Beavs are Oregon State, the college. That is their mascot. And I know this because one of my best friends from high school was the social media director or something along those lines for like the football team. And like she worked in their athletic department. So go Beavs.
Yeah, but why is someone in London so interested in Oregon? Maybe that I don't know.
But when you said that connection, I was like, yeah, it is the Beavs.
So, of course, this was the first glass that I was like, you're coming home with me. So, this funny cool, story about...
If you have a glass that cool, though, going back to, like, last week, if you're going to put drinks in a glass, like, that cool and that branded, you should be selling them. Like, you should be selling them. We went to a bar a couple weeks ago when we were away for my cousin's 30th, when I died,
Mhm.
And in this bar, they had t-shirts, and the t-shirts, you could do like a 10 beer tasting or a 4 glasses of like their spiked lemonade tasting.
Oh.
But you paid for it and you got the shirt. The shirt was $18 on its own. Or you purchased
That's
a
a good
shirt and you got
sale.
the alcohol with it for like $30. Like, duh.
Yeah.
So please hold. I have to let the dog in.
Okay. But this glass, so this was the first one we saw. Like you said, people just take glasses, whatever. Funny story about this one. We were in the bar and we were about to leave, and I was like, I really want to take this one home, sitting around with the girls, of course. And then we were like, oh, but we can't just shove it in our bag. And I'm like, why not? Stacy, shout out to Stacy, goes, well, let me just ask the guy if we could just take it. You can't ask the guy.
That would be me. I would be.
Yeah.
That would be me in that situation.
So sure
My
enough,
conscience would be like, ask.
so sure enough, the guy who he's like younger, he's like the pub owner probably, or manager at least, but he was like younger, like he's probably like 30s, you know, whatever, or early 40s. He came over to us to let us know that the pub was starting to close. Like it was like last call or whatever, but like they have the policy where you could just, whatever beer you're drinking, they just pour it into a plastic cup and then you could like take it with you.
Oh, cool.
I couldn't figure out if that meant you could like walk around town with it or they just let you stand outside and finish it. I couldn't really figure that out. But anyway, so he was coming around with plastic cups, giving everybody plastic cups. And Stacy goes to the guy, how devastated would you be? Like she said, how attached are you to this glass? That's how she said it. And the guy just looked at her and goes, that's not the way you do it. Like, now that you asked me, now I need the glass back. And the guy, he was like, that, why did you ask me? And I'm just like, God damn it, Stacy. And then of course I'm like joking with him. I'm like, I told her that it was more honorable to just steal it from you instead of ask. And I'm like joking around. And then eventually he's just like, this is why you bring the big jackets and the big bags. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get a little water, swish it out, and put it in the bag. And I'm just like, I knew it.
I love how he's giving you tips on how to steal his glasses.
Yeah, I mean, he eventually like slid it back, and he goes, "Put it away, put it away." But like either way, I was like, this is the whole quote: "Don't ask for forgiveness, ask for permission." I mean,
okay,
no.
Well, now I feel less bad that you. Now I feel less bad that you got that one because he knew you were taking it.
Yeah, and the second one, which I'll debut next week, I guess, was actually a lot harder to get because they were the bus boys. I don't know if they're called bus boys in London, but the guys that were coming around to clean tables in the pub that I stole the second glass from, they were on it. Like, you could have this left in your glass and they'd be like, are you finished? Like, do you want to take, you finished?
You finished?
Inside joke there. So, I was like, can you hold on a second, man? And then the minute we put one down, he would take it back. And it is so cute.
They know what's up. They know what's up.
I think he's just really trying to keep the place clean. Like, I don't think he suspected anything because we were hanging out there for a while. It's not like we were looking like we were about to leave. I don't know, but yeah, it was a lot easier to steal this one, even especially after Stacy just asked if we could have it. So that's this. The beer is not a Beavertown beer. It's another one of those North Carolina beers that I got from a coworker. It's the last one, actually. And I might have waited too long to drink it because it didn't like foam up the way a beer should, but it seems to be tasting fine. It's an IPA.
Oh, that's good. Also, everyone, Toni-ann needed to be reminded because she didn't know that a pint isn't 12 ounces. Yeah. It is in fact 16. And if any of our followers need to or our listeners need a reminder, I'm here to remind you of the Gallon Man, who lives rent-free in my head. We probably learned about him in 4th grade, maybe third. His body was a gallon, and then his limbs were 4 quarts because 4 quarts equal a gallon, and then his wrist and ankles were cups were pints because 2 pints equals 1 quart, and then his fingers were 4 cups because 4. You got where I'm going here. apparently Toni-ann forgot about the gallon man because she comes over with her cup and she's like, oh, 12 ounces isn't a pint.
I'm also just like never good
16.
when it comes to measurements.
Again.
But maybe
Anyway,
the gallon
so
man's
fourth
another
grade
like
gallon man in my head.
Maybe the gallon man's another shrinking airheads thing. Maybe it was just specific to a town or
okay, well,
culture.
Obviously it was a good way of teaching. I really think it was fourth grade, Miss Arnold. The real MVP. I'm gonna ask Kyle if he remembers the gallon man. Because she was obviously a great teacher because we just talk about her all the time.
Well, considering half our listeners are probably people from your fourth grade class, maybe they'll freaking remember it.
Shout out to Miss Arnold, who's now Mrs. Francelli. But she's the best. She was the best teacher.
Quite the crew to deal with.
From what you've seen.
Yeah, from just the people I've met in this class.
All right, anyway, I'm about to try this emergency, and then I'll go into my ridiculous thing, but let's try it. I put more water than I was supposed to in it.
To dilute it. Okay,
yeah.
If you go into it with that face, it's not going to make it better.
No.
Think of it as Taylor trying to make you better.
I'll try. But okay, so anyway, orange juice. I have trust issues with orange juice. So
is this your ridiculous thing?
Yeah, because you get why it's ridiculous in 2 minutes. So my child had an ear infection 2 weeks ago, I guess. And she was on amoxicillin. I was on the phone with my mom and my aunt, and we were talking about the medicine. And I think I was sick at the time too, and she told me to take emergency because my whole house has had lingering cold illness going on since literally like the second week of December. Mm-hmm. So from this, I'm saying how I don't like emergency because I don't like orange things. It reminds me of orange juice, and I don't like orange juice. This ties into the story because when we were younger and we used to get ear infections, the doctor would always give us Augmentum, which is that gross white antibiotic. Don't know if anybody remembers it, but it tastes disgusting. It tastes like chalk. So
I always got the one that I called the bubblegum man.
Yeah, that's amoxicillin. Okay, so amoxicillin is the one that you always wanted, but they used to give the Augmentum to us sometimes. I don't know why. Anyway, I vividly remember that we had ear infections. We were at my grandparents' house. The medicine was in the refrigerator, like it's supposed to be, whatever. And my mom and my nanny were literally trying to get us to take this medicine for like, I don't even know. They were like chasing us down the halls. We wouldn't take it. Fast forward, that was also when my trust issues with orange juice started because my grandparents said that there was no pulp in the orange juice, and there was so much pulp in this orange juice. I don't think I've had a glass of orange juice since, including, but not limited to, mimosas with 1 drop of orange juice in it, because Toni-ann has been to Boozy Brunch with me enough to know that I don't even trust orange juice in my mimosa to not have pulp in it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like mimosas either, just because like too much of it's too sweet, it's too much. But like at the same time, that's like a little ridiculous. You can't even take a drop. But again, we know we have texture issues.
The ridiculous thing is that I have such a vivid memory of where my trust issues with the orange juice came from. And if you know me, you know that this isn't that offbeat. But anyway.
We know you have a texture issue. We know that you have things that you didn't like growing up that have just stuck with you through adulthood. And that includes, so you're not Tony Soprano. It's not like you like some pulp. You like none.
No.
I don't just drink orange juice either. It's not something I ever go and just like drink, but it's also, I'm not going to like be grossed out if it comes near me.
Yeah, I would prefer apple juice to orange juice any day of the week.
I don't really drink any juice, to be quite
honest. I don't drink juice a lot anymore. Anyway.
I'm a coffee gal, you know? I don't need juice in the morning.
Do you have a ridiculous thing, Toni-ann?
Yes, I do. Well, we always do. Ridiculous things has really become just ranting time, which is kind of probably how it always was going to be from the start. But my iCloud storage has been full for, I think, since like September. I have like over 7,000 photos on my phone. I also like to keep my text messages basically forever. So that way I could always go back and look at if we've ever talked about a certain topic or something like that. So I obviously,
same.
Because I'm me and I'm cheap, I only pay the 99 cents a month that gives me 50 gigabytes of iCloud storage. And I refuse to go higher than that. The next step up is like probably 200. I think it's like 200 gigabytes and it's like $2.99 a month. And I'm like, no, I'm not paying another $2 a month.
I think that's the one that I have, the $2.99 a month.
Apple gets so much money from me already. What's another $2 a month? But I'm just like, it's a principle thing. And you know me, I'm stuck on my principles and how I feel about them. So I'm like, I am not giving Apple $3 a month to store my photos. Like, that's atrocious. So I started the process. So my phone just hasn't been backed up in like 2 months, which is bad because obviously if God forbid something happened to it tomorrow, I'd lose everything from September essentially. So I needed to start making room in my iCloud. So I've been going through my photos and just like deleting like duplicates, which I've always been good about, but just like getting rid of things that photos I'd never really definitely need, and videos. And it's funny going back, it's like going through memory lane, like when you're going through all your photos. I sent you a couple of Snapchats yesterday, but like our concerts, and like you take all those grainy videos of you screaming and you save every single one and you're like, I do not need this video. But I also don't want to delete it because it reminds me of like how happy I was in that moment.
Right. That's the point of it.
I know, but like I wouldn't show it to anyone because all you hear is me screaming, "Romeo, take me!" That's like as like in the background. I actually taught myself when we went to the Eras tour. I actually made a mental note like, if you're recording, don't sing. And
this
it was
is why
very
I stopped
hard.
recording things, because
yeah,
someone around you is always singing and ruining it.
Well, the newer iPhones are a lot better though at suppressing sound, like in certain places. Like the old videos, it's just hog wild. But the newer videos, I noticed, like again, like when I went to the Eras tour, I only recorded like 2-3 snippets of a song. I really was present in the moment. I was not on my phone like almost at all. But I did record the bridge to Champagne Problems. And I remember specifically, which, you know, I want to scream that out. What a shame she's in the head, you know, like
Right.
that part and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I would not have that. A good job on the self-control on that one, because if I missed that part in the car, like, I think Alec called me while I was listening to that song last week, and it was literally right at the bridge, and I was like, I have to start the whole song over again. You just ruined the whole vibe. Gotta start
I
over.
have a rule that if the bridge is on, like the bridge is about to happen and I'm like in my garage, I need to sit and finish the song. Like there's no way I'm not going to leave before the bridge. But that's besides the point. Anyway, so I have all those videos and I like, it's so nice to look back. I literally have on my phone all the way back to 2013 when I got my iPhone, like our college days, or like
That's
on
wild.
my phone still. So I did.
Mine's 2016, I think, is the earliest photo I have on this phone.
Well, so I did start the process of putting every year in a folder in a couple of thumb drives. So that way, and then I did delete.
This is
off
so organized
my phone.
of you.
Well, am I not OCD? I mean, this makes perfect sense, but I'm very organized as a person. You should know that. But
no, I do. But like, I guess I never thought about backing up my phone this thoroughly.
Yeah. So I have it like, well, like it's like albums. Like I have each year in an album, and I did delete, with the exception of like a select few that I just really love. I did delete 2013 and 2014 off my phone, and now, but I couldn't delete 2015 because that was just like such a year. Like how?
Yeah, how dare you?
2015 was like one of the best years of my life. Like I can't take it away.
This is funny that you're talking about this, because recently I used one of like my old Michael Kors bags that I used in college, like my big brown one, MK's all over it.
Yeah.
And basically it just became like a storage unit of like shit that had no home in my like closet or anywhere really. So there was such random things in this bag. I found an iPod that looked like it went through, like it got ran over by a car. It wasn't mine because I never had a green iPod, but that one in the garbage. So if
Surprise,
anybody's
it's
listening
green. Surprise, it's
and
not
it was
yours.
theirs, I'm sorry that I threw out your iPod, but I couldn't even turn it on to see what music was on it. And I found my digital camera. So like my camera is in there and Alec is like, do we need this? Whose camera is this? I was like, it's mine. And he was like, I'm like, I have to find the charger. It's probably somewhere like around here. I said, but guaranteed on that camera is just like random photos from college, random photos probably from an Albin High School, because when I was on the yearbook committee, I just like took random photos. I don't know if I like deleted any of them. So I'm like, I really don't know what's on there, what's on the memory card or what, but let's fire that bad boy up, because honestly, if I could take photos on a digital camera instead of my phone, like I've said this multiple times, I really want to be more conscious about not using my phone. But
I know,
I'd rather have a physical camera, I think, than
remember
like
when we literally used to take the Canon pixels or whatever the heck they're called,
bring the
on
camera on your
bar.
wrist to the football games, to everywhere we went. We were just walking around with cameras on our wrist. Why? Why?
It warms my heart. It really does.
I know, but like, could you imagine like being like the generation younger than us, just being like, why did you do that? Why?
I have seen that some people are bringing it back once again.
Yeah,
it's not a big movement yet, but I have seen like girls on TikTok be like, oh, look at me, I'm so unique. I use a digital camera when I go with my friends, not my phone. And I'm like,
yeah, but it's unique now. It's unique. I don't know. I don't understand. What else? Yesterday I was trying to tell you this on the phone. But were you done? Well, were we? Did we finish our ridiculous thing? I think you were just ranting at that point, but I just wanted to make sure.
About the whole cloud business. Like, why does a company? I know that they own basically everything that I ever put into my phone. I understand that, but why do they get to like tell me I gotta pay them to keep my own photos? It drives me nuts.
No, you're 100% right. 100%.
I mean, I can just keep buying thumb drives or external hard drives and just keeping them on there, which I will do going forward. But it's still like, I like to look at them on my phone. I like the slideshows, like on this day 10 years ago, like all that stupid shit.
Yeah, I like that too, actually.
I know. They make like little videos. It's the cutest thing in the world.
I know. To sentimental music, I could lose my mind watching those, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
But I was going to say over the weekend, I didn't want to record on Monday because I wanted to talk about the football games.
Okay.
Because one, this is ridiculous also. I think it's ridiculous that a playoff football game was exclusively on a streaming site.
But it was the most watched one ever because of course everybody bought it anyway.
Well, so what happened was we manifest things on this podcast, right? So bestie Ari gets engaged. Thanks, Nick. Took my advice. Anyway, so they get engaged, and we went out on Saturday. We like all went to this bar and restaurant. We like surprised her. It was great. Super fun. But we were in a room that didn't have a smart TV. So we couldn't watch the game, which in the moment, whatever, it was probably better that we couldn't watch the game anyway because we were all mingling or whatever. But I just think it's so ridiculous that you would put up, like, we're not talking like regular season game, whatever, but like a wild card game. What? So they're
not doing that the rest of the time, right? This was like a one and done deal.
I think it was a one and done deal, which again, like, why couldn't you like it's just done, in my opinion. It's done. So we did miss the game, but like the videos of the freezing like water bottles and the frozen beers at Arrowhead were crazy. Yeah. The jackets that the guy on the 49ers wife made for Taylor and Brittany were
I hate that they
psychotic. They were insane. But they were so cute. So cute. They were. And she also made one for Taylor Lautner for the Detroit game, for the Lions game.
Okay.
She made him one for the Lions game. And then
she got a good little business.
I also saw like further down on her page that she had made Simone Biles a puffer vest of her husband. The girl is so talented, and let's give it up for her husband, unlike Simone Biles' husband, who is out here commenting on every single thing that, like, somebody says about the jacket. He's like, my wife made it. My wife made it. My wife made it.
Aww.
Like, giving her all the credit in the world, and, like, good for you. I have no idea how to say their last name, but it's, like, Kyle J something. He's on the 49ers. But that was awesome. And then the beating that the Packers gave the Cowboys was just embarrassing.
How about them boys?
Yeah. Which I didn't realize that the Cowboys have such a bad record in the postseason.
Yeah, they're choke artists. They have been. That's why Tony Romo always got a bad rap about that too. He was a choke artist.
Right, but, like, yeah. I guess I never, like, realized that it was, like, so long of our entire, like, since 1995. That's basically our whole lives.
That's why
like,
everybody's.
I thought they were good when we were younger. Like, I thought that they were, like, really good when we were younger. And now I'm like, oh, they haven't been good. It's like I don't know.
I can't comprehend how they're America's team because they haven't won anything since God knows when. Like, I guess they earned that moniker, great word usage, if I do say so myself, when they were good, whenever that was. But
it was before 1995, apparently.
You can't just keep a name like that forever if you're not gonna, like, you have to lose it. Like, who is America's team now in football? Who would you say?
I don't know. I mean,
the Chiefs?
Probably. I mean, they have like 7 titles in a row, don't they?
No.
I thought I saw that. I thought I saw a video about that before.
Oh, like division titles.
Maybe. Yeah, division titles. Yeah. I'm sorry, not Super Bowl. Okay. Division titles. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. But the and then the Eagles. The Eagles. This is the thing with the Eagles this year. This Kelsey documentary really. I don't know what happened to me. I really don't know what happened to me. Because I'm a Jets fan. I don't like the Eagles. I don't want to like the Eagles. But I watched the documentary and, like, they're just so wholesome. And I just love the Kelseys so much. And I sound like every other basic bitch in America right now. But, like, they are the best. And I sat there and I was like, oh, they're going to lose. And poor Jason. And then you have these videos. And then you have these videos on Twitter because the Swifties are making montages.
Oh my God, I saw that.
I'm in tears today. I was watching their podcast today. And he's just so emotional. And, like, obviously, he says he hasn't made a decision yet based on the podcast. But
he just wants to say it on his own terms.
It has to be decided. Like,
yeah.
I think, you know, for his sake and his family's sake, like, I really hope that he doesn't come back for another season because his body just can't handle it.
He's also so set now with endorsements and sponsorships, and he could be a commentator if he wants to because of everything that's blown up.
People just love him.
Yeah. This year really propelled him, like, so that he could be set after football too. Like, I think he did need the extra year or two to, like, get that off-field notoriety, and now that like outside of Philly, and now that he needed
that too for himself, because I feel like even if I think he needed the self-validation, like, there are things I could do after this, not necessarily that those opportunities weren't going to be there before this year.
Well, they're a lot easier now, let's just say that.
Right, and it's just so, you know, I feel like when the Jets beat the Eagles, part of me was like, oh my God, now I keep wanting them to win, because I felt like if the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, the Jets made it to the Super Bowl if they were their only loss. Which obviously didn't happen because the collapse happened at the end of the season.
That's one way to put it.
But in my brain, when, like, their only loss was to the Jets for so long, I was like, it's happening.
We put them on a downward spiral.
It was just so funny. And Rob McElhaney, or whatever his name is, the one that owns the I never know how to say his last name, but he's
the guy from Always Sunny.
From what?
He's from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, I didn't know what he was in.
Yes, he's married to Caitlin Olsen.
Okay, I know this man,
but he owns a Scottish football team with Ryan Reynolds.
No, didn't know that either. I know him from the new. from the New Heights podcast because he won. Him and his wife were bidding on the Kylie Kelsey Princess Diana jacket against each other, and like he didn't know that his wife was like bidding against him, so they wound up winning it.
They're hilarious.
I saw on, like, she, like, texted him, was like, dummy, it's me. Let me, like, what are you doing with this jacket? Like, I'm trying to win it. So anyway, so they got the jacket, which is awesome. But there was a tweet about him, and he was at the Emmys, like, watching the Eagles game on his phone. And then I guess he won. I don't know what he won for, because I didn't watch the Emmys.
They presented something.
Oh, well, he had, like, an Emmy in his hand, and he was like, I guess it was worth it, or something, because, like, things weren't going. So, I don't know if he won something or not, but
maybe they won, like, an off-screen award. They might have won some kind of comedy, like, category that, like, you know, isn't, like, one that they broadcast. Something like that.
So, I just thought, like, that was cracking me up, but also, why are the Emmys on a Monday? Like, why are the Emmys on a Monday?
I don't know the reason they moved it this year, but then they also tried to do the whole like Martin Luther King thing with it. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I think they did it purposely to not interfere with football. I think that's really what it was.
But it was still interfering with football.
Oh, right. No, but it wasn't supposed to because the Buffalo game was moved.
No, but the Eagles were on Monday night no matter what. That's what I'm saying. So you don't really understand what the purpose of that was.
It was
also
the
Critics' Choice Awards were the same night as the Emmys.
What was?
The Critics' Choice were the same.
It was the night before.
Oh, then I guess I saw everything on delay.
How would they both be? How would people be in two places at once? That makes no sense.
Well, that's what I wasn't understanding. I was like, were people only invited to one or the other? Did they have to make a decision? I'm lost.
His Critics' Choice was on Sunday, and then the Emmys were on Monday.
Thank you for clarifying, because
which is a lot for a social calendar. Just saying.
Right.
I know celebrities, like, whatever. I don't feel bad for them, but like that is back-to-back nights. That's a lot.
Yeah.
There were probably a bunch of people that chose not to go to the Critics' Choice Awards because, like, they were like, we got the Emmys the next day. Like, well, how many days in a row you want me to do here?
Listen, I agree with that.
I don't know the choice behind that, but it didn't pan out because it was the lowest rated Emmys in God only knows how long.
Well, they didn't even say that they were on. Again, I was watching.
Well, this one was, the Emmys are usually in September. It was pushed because of the strikes.
The strike, right.
But because remember I said that, I was like, oh, like, this is a weird time for the Emmys, and it was because of the strikes, but I don't know why they chose to put it on a Monday. Maybe because the Critics' Choice were on Sunday. I don't know.
Another thing I resonated with is because I was watching Kelly and Mark I had it on the other day, on Tuesday morning, because Kelly is an Eagles fan, Mark is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, and they're like big fans, and they're married, and they have a show. So I'm like, I have to see what they say about this game last night. And hold on, I'm getting a call. Please take a brief intermission. I will. As I was saying, Kelly and Mark are both on opposite ends of the spectrum. So I was watching because I wanted to see what they said. But Kelly was like, the Emmys were on last night. And she was like, I didn't watch them, obviously, because we're talking about the football game. But I don't even think I was aware that they were on. And I was like, thank you. Like, why are we not promoting the award shows?
You are probably the only person I know that is our age range that still watches morning shows, by the way.
Well, I work from home.
So do I, but you don't see me putting them on.
I'm a mom. I don't know.
Oh, so because you're a mom, you have to watch Live with Kelly and Mark?
I don't watch it every day. But when I know that's not, like, I didn't watch it today. I meant to, but I didn't feel good, so I didn't watch it today. But I put it on in the background. Normally, actually, I do watch, like, children's shows in the morning. But, again, I don't know. Don't worry. 3 o'clock
I used to
every
watch,
day.
When I first went remote during COVID, I used to watch The Price is Right religiously every day when I worked. But I've stopped doing that now. Because the morning is my busiest time. I'm more bored towards the end of the day. So, like, the morning, I don't really have the time to, like, turn my head and, like, watch TV. But
don't you worry. General Hospital's on in this house every single day at 3 o'clock. And I DVR them every day. So, on the days that I'm home while the baby naps, the day before it goes on, when I'm not here.
Oh, soap operas.
Longest running soap in daytime is
since Days of Our Lives went to Peacock, nobody's watching that shit anymore. That happened
it's still the longest running soap, even if Days of Our Lives didn't go to
I'm just saying, that's the one that my mom used to watch. and I used to hear about. So I got like the Cliff Notes version of what's going on in Salem.
Listen, I'm just a middle-aged woman.
We are middle-aged. We are middle-aged. Well, maybe not quite.
Not really. You're saying you only expect us to live until 60? That's morbid.
Only the good die young, baby. No. I hope you live a very long, happy life. You.
Just me. You're middle-aged still. What?
We'll see how it goes. Let me worry about the next 5 years before I worry about the next 60.
I didn't say not to. You brought up that we were middle-aged.
Am I causing you an existential crisis right now?
Oh, you probably will later when I think about this more.
This is called dealing with friends with anxiety. But I love you.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was mean. Sorry.
It wasn't mean. It's fine. It's true. Literally true.
Well, I have anxiety about it too. I just choose to make dumb jokes like that about it.
Right. Listen, it's I don't even understand. I'm like, what? How is January also? This is another thing. This is random. This whole entire podcast is the most random thing you're ever going to listen to. But why is it that every single January feels like it's moving at a snail's pace, but also like, how is it the third week of January already? Like every year.
Yeah, it feels both. It does.
Right.
I realize that because I'm sitting here thinking the other day, I'm like, oh, because I was away like the first week. So I'm like, oh, like before you know it, like it's February. And that is true. But at the same time, I'm like, but it's like only the middle of the month. And it is. It's like a weird balance of feeling like it's going so fast, but also not moving at all. And I think it's because the weather and
the weather has got the weather. I am not mentally ready for it to be like March, but weather-wise, I need it to I don't want it to be March because I don't want to rush my life, but like I need it to be March.
Right. Well, I don't know. I love the winter, so it doesn't.
Right.
I'm living during this. Everybody's like, oh, no snow. I'm like, this is the first snow we've had on our ground in 2 years.
No, I don't mind the snow.
And the cold. It's mad brick outside.
It looks pretty. Yeah. So
mad brick.
Literally brick. But like the cold and the darkness, I can't do. It's the cold and the darkness for me.
It is getting dark out a little later. Now instead of 4 o'clock, it's like 5 o'clock. But it's still pretty early.
Yeah, but it's rough.
I don't know. But I don't know. I'm enjoying the snow. I got a ski weekend coming up this weekend, so
nice. That's exciting.
Yeah. Thanks to my good old cortisone shot. Ready to go.
Hurt her foot.
It's been resolved, people. It's all good.
I had another thing that I wanted to discuss, and now I can't remember it, and I didn't write it in my note, and that's my own problem, but I'm mad about it because I feel like it was a good topic.
Well, if you remember it, it'll just have to go on the docket for next week.
Yeah. I'll probably remember it in like 4 weeks, which is crazy.
Which will then be February.
It will be February.
This is not a leap year.
Randomly, we're ranting about random things.
This isn't a leap year, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is a leap year?
It's an increment of 4, yes.
I didn't know that's what it meant. Okay. So we got 1 extra day.
Now I'm double checking because you're making me think that like I'm psychotic, but yeah, it is. I have a friend that's born on leap year, so I know that. Yeah, and we're turning 32. So again, increment of 4.
Okay, increments of 4. So I'm not a leap year baby, so why would I care if it's an increment?
I know, but that's how I remember it because my friend is a leap year baby.
So our birthday was a leap year? Our birth year was a leap year? No.
Yeah. Obviously it was because she was born on leap years.
But that was 1992. So that's not an increment of 4.
92 has to be an increment of 4 then. Now I'm going to do 92 divided by 4 because I'm an idiot and I can't do that in my head. 23.
Oh.
It is divisible by 4.
Okay. All right. Who decided these rules?
You could say that about everything in the universe, and that we can't do because that will give me an existential crisis.
Daylight savings and leap years, 2 things that the Romans and Americans, I don't know who
savings
came up
doesn't
with.
bother me though. I feel like
It's
so
so
dramatic with the
annoying
daylight
and
savings.
unnecessary.
No, it is necessary because then some days the sun would not come out until like 10 a.m.
Tomorrow. No. It would come out when it comes out. That's just the time the sun comes out.
Right.
If we didn't have daylight savings, you would never know that's weird that it came out at 10 a.m.
They tried to get rid of daylight savings in the 70s, and there was much more problems that happened, so they had to bring it back.
Arizona seems to be doing quite fine without
That's because of their daylight situation, because they're on a freaking time dateline. They have sunlight. We don't.
I don't know. Like, what's the difference if right now it would be 4 or 5 p.m. instead?
Exactly. You don't even know. We're in daylight savings time. It would be the time that it is.
Oh, okay. So, like, this is the time.
This is the time.
As Billy Joel said, this is the time to remember. Understood. Okay, so yeah. So what's it matter if right now it was 4 o'clock instead?
No, it's still 5 o'clock. She hates daylight savings, but doesn't know how it works, everyone.
I understand how it works in theory. I just don't think it makes sense why we need it. I'm a huge proponent of just getting rid of it and everybody in the world being on the same like concept of time. Like, yes, I know there's time zones. I know that. I'm just saying, like, why do we need to be like, oh, half of the year we're the same time as so-and-so, but 6 months out of the year we're a different time than so-and-so. Like, it's so dumb.
Agree to disagree.
Like, people that live in Arizona, they're like, oh, we're usually 2 hours behind. Except when it's daylight savings, we're 3 hours behind. Like, it's so dumb. Just saying.
I guess.
That really got me amped. It got me amped up.
Got really fired up about it.
I really like, it's, and it comes, and we were speaking about leap years. Like, like I said, I think it was the Romans,
Probably.
The Greeks, somebody that studied the sun and the orbit and the earth and the years, somebody determined that every 4 years we need an extra day. Like, because I think it was like the earth's rotations around the sun, like it was not exactly 365 days, so they needed to like add a day every 4 years to like even it out. But like by now, wouldn't it still not be exactly 365 days?
I have no idea. I don't know.
This is the conversation that people probably
Speaking of the Romans. Wait, speaking of the Romans.
I love the Romans.
And by speaking of the Romans, I mean like the people with the Roman Empire whole thing.
Yeah. My favorite
Women's true Roman Empire is?
Oh, it's an old topic.
How many times you consider selling your feet on the internet?
Where did that come from? We were just talking about leap years. Where did that come from?
You said the Romans, and then I thought of the Roman empires and like all of that. And then I was like,
about, like,
as a working mom, you're always trying to figure out like, how can I make money? And so I believe that every single woman in America, especially the millennials, how many times do you consider selling feet pics? Because for me, it's literally once a week.
So why don't you just do it?
Because I don't, because probably wouldn't make me any money, but I do think about it quite often.
This podcast is sponsored by Jess's OnlyFans.
I am not. Do not start rumors.
You're the one that brought up feet pics.
I said how many times you think about selling your feet pics. Not that you actually do it.
I don't think about that often because I hate feet.
I know, but like, I mean, they're just feet. So like, then you're like, oh, I'm not showing anything else. I have thought about
being a sugar baby many a times.
That's worse than the feet.
Sorry to mom and dad listening to this. They're our biggest YouTube fans, and they're watching this in horror right now. But Not for anything gross, just like.
All right, fine. I guess I'm wrong. I guess that's not everybody's Roman Empire, but
No,
I just
not
thought that
the
was a
peak.
good Roman Empire.
No,
And I
I'm
thought
sure
about it
people
in my
think
car.
about it. I'm sure plenty of people think about it, and there's plenty of people that do it. All I'm saying is that when it comes to like the whole sugar daddy, sugar baby concept, real quick, I'm not gonna get gross, don't worry. There's so many men out there who just want companionship.
Do you know that a podcast that I listened to did an entire episode about this? And most of the sugar babies that were on there were like, I have zero sexual relations. It's all about companionship.
It's all just about texting people back, which granted, I'm a horrible texter. So
or like they take them to dinner and like things like that. Like they just want to take a lot of it is old guys that just want to take care of people because
when we were in London, our last night, we were in a very nice restaurant and there was without a doubt a sugar baby, sugar daddy situation or even like an escort situation happening like a couple tables over from us. It was this very young girl in a very skinny black dress, boobs out to here, dressed to the nines, and a very old man who definitely was not her grandpa, definitely not her dad, like nobody of that sort. They had a lovely meal, I guess, because the place was lovely. I didn't like look that closely at what they were eating and drinking. And then by the time they left and me and Stacy and Kate, we stared at them leaving. And then across from us was another table of like 3 or 4 like girls like our age, and they also watched them leave. And we made eye contact at the same time and go, "You saw that, right?" Like that's what that was. And the girls were like 1,000%, like absolutely, like that's what that was. And we became best friends in that moment, even though we didn't like. It was just like you see what I'm seeing, right? But yeah, like if that's all it is, just texting you and you take me out to fancy dinner, have some nice martinis, and you just wanted to like have some companionship, I can do that. I'm not going to be a great texter, like I said, because I really am not a good texter. But if you want to wine and dine me just to say you're going out with a nice looking lady, I'm your gal. I mean, I would also like a supplemental salary.
I'm literally cracking up.
Wow, this conversation really took a turn, and it's because of your
this entire podcast that's taken a turn.
I'm so sorry to our parents. But at the same time, I can see somebody like my mom being like, you know what? Make money how you want to make money. Like that's a strategy right there.
Whatever pays the bills. Whatever pays the bills.
I'm not volunteering to be a prostitute. I'm just saying that like I thought about the fact that some men just want you to text them, hey, how was your day? Maybe we have to bleep this out.
You're making it even worse.
For the record, I do not want to be one. I do not want to be one.
I'm sure. I don't even know where we're at. Anyway.
Oh boy. This was quite the episode.
God. Oh, you know what is my favorite thing when I worked in restaurants? It's funny that you said that you were like trying to figure out the situation, because that was like when you're a server in a restaurant, that happens so often where like
I'm sure it does.
You try to figure out like, is this a business dinner? Are these people married? Are they cheating on their spouses? Or is this like, I don't know if I've ever had like a sugar baby, sugar daddy like type of situation, but I've definitely thought a fair
escort
business dinner or like whatever, because there has been people with like rings on and then you find out that they're like traveling for work and you're like, you two are way too comfortable right now. Do you hear what? And like it kind of makes you uncomfortable, but at the same time, like then all the servers are like, let's play a game. Also, like, are these people on a date or are they parents and children? Like, that's another one. So that's like a thing that happens like a lot. So it was funny that you said that.
Like siblings are dating, that Instagram. I love that.
That too. Yeah. Yep.
But that would be me in a restaurant. If I ever worked in a restaurant, I'd just be constantly like making up stories about the people I'm seeing and seeing like what their deal is. Fun. I'd be such an eavesdropper. It'd be out of control. I'd probably get fired because I'd just be like standing at the table like, so what's your deal? Like, what's your story here? Like, what are we working with here? I just need to know. But yeah, I was thinking that in the restaurant, when we saw those people, I'm like, this probably happens more times than you could count, and only sometimes do you notice it.
Yeah, like it's very hard to like tell, honestly. But then there's other tables where like you get like like they have like full-blown conversations with you. And
Mhm.
it's just it's so interesting working in restaurants. Like honestly, like it should
I'm
be
sure
like
working in a restaurant, you
a,
know, like, have you ever witnessed a breakup?
a breakup.
I've sat next to people in restaurants as they're breaking up.
No, but one
It's so
time
awkward.
Ariana and I went to Hibachi with her family for her birthday, and across the table from us was 100% a first date. 100%.
Oh, I've
And
run into
we
those a lot.
also think that we witnessed their first kiss while they were putting
Oh.
like a giant dragon head on top of Ariana's.
Why would that be the moment they
Because it was
kissed?
her birthday, because I think they thought the whole table was distracted, yet we were still looking at them.
That's kind of cute.
It was funny.
Yeah, I witnessed a lot of first dates being around Hoboken. I feel like it's like there's a lot of good like first date spots. So I always like make a point to like look at the girl and be like, "You good?" Like kind of thing. I feel like that's like a girl code thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been out of the restaurant obviously in a bit, but like you definitely see some characters and things, and like, listen, it's very traumatizing, honestly.
You have to watch The Bear.
I know, I do. But anywho, I think that we have ranted and raged a little too hard today.
I'm trying to think in my
We'll
head
blame
how
it
we're
on the
gonna
cold medicine.
I'm trying to think in my head how we're going to summarize this episode and come up with the title because there's quite a lot of interesting topics for this.
Like the topic train on Z100 when they used to
Yeah,
have
except
that.
a lot weirder. Also, can we take a moment to appreciate how adorable he is?
Maybe
Please.
Yoda. Yeah, he is adorable.
That's Grogu to you, and he's very patriotic. Look at him.
Okay.
Now that my tree is gone, he's returned to his rightful place in the living room. But anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
All right, what an episode.
Listen, I'm gonna have fun editing this one, and if it's a little choppy, by the time you get to the end here, I apologize.
Well, that's what happens when you start to mention prostitutes and the like, you know.
Toni-ann!
I don't think it's illegal to say that.
It's not. You're just gonna make it.
We make sure we check off on the YouTube box, no, not for children. So I feel like it's fine. Like, we're not Danny Go. I think it's very clear. Shout out to Danny Go, though. He's a real G. Justin, my little cousin, loves that guy.
Just want to say that I hope that if you're concerned for my well-being, one, I hope that you're watching this and laughing that my eyes have barely been open the entire time, and two, I hope that nobody heard me sniffling the entire time as well.
No, I actually think you sounded fine. How much of that emergency have you drank?
Most of it, actually.
Good. Are you going to finish it once we get off camera?
I'll take more sips now.
It is the 13th episode.
No, I probably will finish it. It got better as it went on, but I can't say that I still love it.
Maybe mix it with the tea.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. But it only says to have one a day. So.
Yeah, obviously.
But anyway.
Okay. Anyway.
All right, peeps. We'll see you next week.
Weird episode. But we'll
Thanks for joining us.
Hopefully we don't lose any followers with this one.
Thanks for being our friend.
Thanks for being our friends. Bye.
Hi, friends. Wow, you listened to the whole thing. Thanks for listening. Please be sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform and share it with your friends. Ratings, reviews, and comments help as well. See you next week. Thanks for being our friend.